The latest headlines in the Ivy League, covered through exclusive interviews right now. From campus to campus, go around the Ancient Eight with Brian Seltzer, Thursdays on the Ivy League Digital Network. Football.
This week's edition of Around the Ancient Eight begins in Providence, Rhode Island, on the campus of Brown University. Longtime Brown football voice Scott Cordisci of BrownBears.tv. First win of the season in a really meaningful rivalry game for Brown versus URI this past Saturday. Just how much progress has Brown made from Game 1 through Game 3?
Well, the great part about that win was it's the only game on the schedule where there's a piece of hardware at stake. You know, there's a trophy presented to the winner at the end. And so, you know, it was something to kind of dangle in front of the kids this past week. And they got up for that game. You know, I think there's been significant improvement from week 1. You know, we lost so much to graduation last year. All 11 starters on offense, 8 of 11 on defense. So this was a very inexperienced football team. You know, this team's been hit hard with a lot of injuries early on this season. So the kids are playing hard, but it's a team that's not too experienced. The hope is that as they gain more experience as the season goes on, that improvement will continue.
Last non-conference game for the Brown Bears this Saturday versus 2-4 Holy Cross at home. Who are some of the names, Scott, that are on this year's group to keep an eye on as the Bears head into conference play?
Well, I think on offense, Troy Doles, he is by far, I think, our biggest weapon, our toughest kid, and he can really do a lot of good things for this offense. Defensively, I know Coach Estes highlighted our middle linebackers at the start of the season, Xavier Russo and Dan Giovacchini, and they are terrific. Chad Berry, he's been converted from middle linebacker to defensive end because they just felt he was so talented, they couldn't sit him behind Russo and Giovacchini for another year. They had to get him on the field. So their answer to that was, put your hand on the ground, we're going to play at defensive end.
Scott Cordisci's been calling games for Brown football for 2 decades of BrownBears.tv. Scott, thanks so much for the time.
My pleasure, Brian.
Soccer.
On to New Haven, Connecticut. Adlon Adams covers Yale women's soccer for the Ivy League Digital Network. Bulldogs winning overall record, 0-1-1 in Ivy League play. They visit Dartmouth this Saturday at 4 on the Ivy League Digital Network. Adlon, Dartmouth has 2 draws just ahead of Yale in the conference standings. What's the focus been like for the Bulldogs this week?
You know, I think they've started really strong in the beginning of the season. They have a lot of really good new players up front. They've been really focusing on getting back into the groove of things and where they started with that high intensity and connecting those passes up top.
Freshman defender Carlin Hudson, the Ivy League Rookie of the Week. She had a real tough assignment last weekend facing Midge Purse of Harvard. What type of young core Adlon do you see Yale building with the likes of Hudson? And also throw in Sarah McCauley, another Ivy League Rookie of the Week award winner this year.
You know, we've been really surprised, especially up top in the press box, to see how well the freshmen have been working with the upperclassmen because, of course, you have veterans like Franny Cox and Melissa Gavin and Meredith that core really, really strong and very consistent players. And then you have these girls who come in, Carlin Hudson in the back. You also have Meg Byfield, who has been consistently starting in the right back position. So they've been adding both offensively and defensively, and I can't imagine that Coach Meredith is unhappy with that situation.
Insight from Adlon Adams of the Ivy League Digital Network covering Yale women's soccer. Appreciate it, Adlon.
Thank you.
Volleyball.
Old Nassau, Princeton University, and volleyball. The Tigers continue their strong start in conference play with a record of 3-0 with wins over Penn, Cornell, and Columbia. Cody Kessel, broadcast game on GoPrincetonTigers.tv. Cody, what's clicked in with the Tigers in conference competition?
One of the big things I would point to is actually the team defense. I think we're leading the Ivy League in digs as a team, and that's just giving arguably the best player in the league right now, Kendall Peterkin, a lot of chances to swing and kill the ball out of system or in system. So I'd say the top thing that I saw from last season is just improvement on team defense has just been awesome.
You mentioned junior Kendall Peterkin for the 4th time this season, Ivy League Player of the Week for women's volleyball. She's top 15 in the country in points per set. What stands out about the way she goes about her business? What does she bring to the table?
It's been really remarkable to see her get so much better year after year. She's really stepped up her game in every aspect. You know, you can see it in her hitting, but also her serving and her defense have just taken leaps and bounds from the past couple seasons. So she's just an all-around great player, and as we said, kind of arguably the best player in the Ivy League right now. And the Tigers kind of live and die by her, but she just does a great job at everything.
Great perspective from Cody Kessel. You can hear him call Princeton Volleyball on GoPrincetonTigers.tv on the Ivy League Digital Network. Cody, thanks so much.
Anytime.
That wraps up this week's edition of Around the Ancient Eight on the Ivy League Digital Network. Talk to you next Thursday.
This has been Around the Ancient Eight, highlighting headlines from the Ivy League. Check out new episodes premiering Thursdays on the Ivy League Digital Network.